Spain's faith is what always gives it power. Without faith, the heathens would still rule in Iberia and far beyond. Without faith, we would not have the courage to seek empire once more, nor for ourselves, but for Christ himself. In Morocco, our armies fight the heathen, born out of the continuation of the Reconquista. We'll be where we make our purpose known. But that is not the only matter on the mind of King Carlos. The island of Madagascar, off limits to Europeans and under French influence due to their ferocity, have been a region Spain seeks to subjugate with permission from our friends in Paris. For resources, of course, but more importantly, to have the Redeemer's name given worship there. But the Dutch have seized upon the opportunity of our holy war to take it for themselves. Tense talks have been had, but in the end, it looks like they will stand down after France's intervention on our behalf. But most of all, Carlos thinks of the dream he had during the darkest days of the Civil War. A dream brought to him by God, seeing the shiny city of Jerusalem and the flag of Christian and flying high above it once more. The Holy Alliance has admitted Spain now into their company, and through it the dream of the Kingdom of God is not lost yet. This is the 5th part of a roleplay multiplayer game of Victoria 3. To Philippines, I do need to transfer states. It's been quite some time. I am an ambassador from King Carlos.
Welcome to Manila, ambassador.
Thank you. You are well aware of the letter that King Carlos wrote to your nation.
I am.
At the bequest of the king to speak with your government about expansion in the region. Obviously, Asia is the only region that we have room to expand in at present time. We are quite interested in the other eastern islands. There are many out there in archipelago. The guano in particular is of particular interest to Spain, as its use for fertilizers would be incredibly useful. I'm not sure if you use such practices here in the Philippines.
Well, for now, we are unaware of such. Those such concepts are foreign to us for now.
It's to put it simply, it's bird shit. There's a lot of islands that have a lot of bird shit on them, and as strange as it is to say, it makes for good fertilizer. It's a very large industry in Europe, and a very profitable one too, in fact.
Interesting. I thought Europe would have found a way to proceed with such ambitions in a more civilized way instead of scooping up
well, the technicalities of fertilizer is unfortunately not going to ever be a very clean one. But the point I'm coming to is that we are interested in pursuing some more of these islands in the Pacific that have access to guano, as well as potentially strategic value in the future. Now, Spain, of course, could go in directly and do this themselves, but you are obviously given arms and provisions. Your military, your colonial military here, does have the proper things needed to pursue this. Obviously, the one thing you do lack is a navy, which is why we wish to speak to you, Governor Stewart, about the possibility of you developing a small but acceptable navy and pursuing some of these islands for the crown.
I see. You are aware that such an undertaking requires quite a lot of resources that the Philippines do not have.
You would have the money. We can provide that to you, and the resources you will find will quickly be appearing in the Spanish market, as our economy is beginning to grow rather quick.
I hope the Spanish ships will stand the test of time.
As do we. Is this something that your government would be willing to do?
We are willing to follow the will of the crown.
Send an itemized list of costs to the Spanish Foreign Office, and we will see proper recompense given to your government to develop the Navy, as well as any other military costs you might occur in this conflict.
That's good to hear. The Philippines are more than happy to help the Spanish crown in its expansion and rightful claim on the world stage.
Now, on to the final matter that we have, which is that, is there anything we can do for your government at this time?
Since you have so established your plans in Asia, we are more than willing to go through with them. We just hope that in due time, Philippines will be allowed to pursue a bit more of a liberal economic matters such as rapid industrialization, but that is in due time.
One day we will allow for it, but it is the opinion of our government that until such time as Spain is able to have the lion's share of these industries, we will pursue our current status.
Until then, we will focus on building the agrarian economy and focus on constructing a navy in Manila. I've seen your government successfully campaign in Morocco and in Madagascar, So I would just like to say, Ambassador, that here in person, I can congratulate you on such effective campaigns on your government.
I thank you. I will remind you, as a fellow Christian and a member of the Spanish Empire, you do not need to thank the crown, nor me. It is you who also will profit off of these affairs, both spiritually and financially. We really need railroads. How long until we get them? Another 28 months. We also really need to build up some more universities. We only have a couple, I think. Paper mills, after this food industry is done. I am going to start empowering the industrialists. We've done most of the things I want to. King Carlos, primarily after he took power. He's also getting older now. We are 59, by the way. We have secured the regions that we've wanted to, so the only other war I think we'll probably fight today is we're going to annex Corona. We need a bit more governmental bureaucracy. Are we already lurking? No, we got to get another level of law enforcement, so we do need to build, I'd say, another maybe 2 governmental. The problem is, like, our laws right now. We have a land-based tax system, which is fucking horrible, and then we also have a traditionalist economy, which is fucking horrible. We got to get out of this, but until the industrialists get more power, which...
Greetings.
Hello there.
We have come as inviters to the South American Congress. The Congress has approved a motion by His Majesty, Emperor Pedro, to invite both Iberian nations, Portugal and Spain, to come and observe and be a part of the South American Congress in regards to foreign relations.
You do us great honor, and I would be happy to send an ambassador. No, I'll send the foreign minister himself to attend the conference and speak on my behalf.
New Granada has declared war on me for no reason to humiliate me.
That's not true, that's a bug.
That is true. You can't lie about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's
I would like to formally send the thanks of King Carlos for being given the honor to be present at this meeting. We look forward to good relations with all the sovereign and great states of South America.
So I think it'd be prudent to discuss trade first and foremost. I have formed my own separate, as the Brazilian Empire. We've formed our own separate trade agreements with Spain and Portugal. It is of our belief that it would be of interest to form similar trade agreements across South America, codify and simplify the trade between our continents.
So I assume one part of this is an interest in South America to access to higher quantities of more specialized goods.
Brazil, in particular, was looking more towards a broader cooperation, of course. What that entails is something that I think can be built over time. I can't speak for all of my other member nations, of course, for what they seek.
We will certainly hope if New Granada and Spain and Portugal could build trade agreements together and strengthen our economy and relationships in hopes of a better future for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I would like to make some sort of trade agreement between our countries if we can, because Argentina is desperately short of a lot of goods, and it's really taking a toll on us.
Spain would like to make it very clear that we do at present have the diplomatic capacity for, I believe, 3, 4, possibly even 5 more trade agreements. And if South America does wish to pursue ties with Iberia and Spain, we are happy to discuss the signing of those today. Spain fully intends to honor its words when last we spoke as to the championing of South American countries in Europe, who often have a habit of ignoring those in other regions that aren't Europe proper, as well as providing aid to your countries in pursuance of your autonomy and the maintaining of your sovereignty. We are fully committed to that. We spoke with Brazil, but since we are here at a larger meeting, I'm not sure how much His Highness has spoken about this, but Spain does wish to make it very clear. We are pursuing, obviously, to work with you all on an equal footing as good Christians and as sovereign states. And as part of that, in order for you to maintain your autonomy, we are interested in helping alongside Brazil, of course, in support of them, to maintain your sovereignty, whether that be diplomatically or militarily. And on that matter, are there any states that are wishing to ratify a trade agreement with us at this time? I believe New Granada was interested.
Yes.
Additionally, the Republic of Venezuela would be interested as well.
I guess Argentina would be too.
Well, Brazilian Empire, while we are working towards building an eventual common market across South America to aid our own nations here, we cannot be opposed to nations within South America pursuing alternatives, as we are all independent, and that is truly what we stand for the most.
We do have a proposition. We were about to say it. For us to share common growth and common wealth, we could see an arrangement of custom unions. That means that the country that joins...
Certainly something Brazil could agree with. However, we would prefer it to be referred to as a South American common market than a Brazilian one. We do not wish to hold any sort of power over the others, members of it.
Yes, that is true, but there is always be a need for one to be the leader of the common market, isn't it?
Oh, certainly, but I mean in the same strain as the current South American Congress. The South American Congress is currently housed in Rio, but it does not mean that Rio is the dictator of the Congress.
The primary use of such a common market is monetary strength. I mean, correct. In the sense that the Brazilian currency is, I mean, no disrespect, obviously less valued than that of European currencies, but still much more compared to smaller countries. The strength there is the primary thing that gives you precedence. And as part of that injunction, if we do begin to cooperate and merge markets in a closer degree, I would like to suggest that my king is open to the Royal Bank of Spain purchasing large amounts of currency and using them jointly in transactions alongside Spanish currency as well, in order to provide more value to both your market, your economies, and your currency as a whole.
Well then, it is official. Which common market each nation will join is between each members. Of course, the Rio common market is open to all South American nations.
Delegation would like to formally thank Brazil for hosting this and for all the South American nations for being involved. I will be returning home to Madrid to inform my king, and of course any of your delegations are welcome in Madrid if you would wish. I do want more declared interest, so we're going to go to skirmish, we're going to go to mobile artillery, and we're going to go to muskets. This is going to be expensive, but it will give us a lot of power projection and get us closer to the next rank slot, which will give us more declared interest, which we need. And we are going to build up a much larger navy too. I have begun the process of building that up. I want us to get up to around 50 flotillas as soon as we can. One of the big goals for King Carlos was to rebuild the Spanish Main. It's also a good time, I think, to start a war against N10 Carana. I'll do a diplo play post real quick.
King Carlos, how may I help you?
I have traveled here to Morocco, the first time stepping foot on heathen soil since General Adil saw victory for us in the end of the Reconquista. How goes the overseeing of the heathen lands?
Oh, I was actually planning on giving you a report on everything that's been going on, but I've seen the use of mandatory workers as helpfully grown on our economy, though it hasn't been a dramatic amount. It's helped quite frankly. We're starting to see the consequences of that with regards to several rebellions I am noticing, particularly in inner Morocco, which I believe could be helped by some Muslim regional powers.
Governor, any troops you need will be given. We have plenty of good Catholic Christians who would be happy to fulfill our duty to God to bring this region into the light. Any troop requests you need, any ammunition or arms request, I will be happy to give them. All you do is need to ask, of course.
Though I do think getting trained soldiers as well, these people know the lands and quite well, and they will use that to their advantage. There already has been reports of several soldiers' deaths. Well, it hasn't been a lot. I do see this trend increasing as our efforts for these mandatory work.
So there have been outright battles then? I was not aware of this.
Not battles, but there's been skirmishes between some of these regional Muslim powers, which I do believe is supplying arms to.
Do we know, Governor? Do you have any knowledge on who exactly these groups are who are funding them? Because I think
not at all.
That is.
We have no clue. I do believe they could also be working with people inside of the French territories. So potentially, I'm not quite sure. And also would say that we should do our best to keep these rebellions down if the world were to figure out our quite a common use of these mandatory workers, it would not do very well for our international reputation.
Well, Governor, Morocco is an independent state, and as you well know, contractual labor is illegal in the Kingdom of Spain, to clarify. We do cede autonomy to colonial governors to choose their independent policies, but I cannot condone your actions here.
Well,
but I also,
believe
as I said, I will cede that interest in that policy to yourself. Best for that to stay out of my ear. You understand?
Yes, but I will say I do believe the use of mandatory workers will be the best way for conversions and other ways of suppression.
As I said, Governor, you've been given authority to do as you see fit in Morocco, and as long as the result is the Christianization of the region, do whatever is required. Send me a report of anything needed, and General Rodil will handle the overseeing of troops sent to the region. The matter I did actually mainly come here to speak on is, as I'm sure you know, the Cross of St. Augustine is something I hope to see completed before I die. My age is coming on to me. My hair's turned gray and white, and I know that soon I will go to the Lord, but before then, I wish to see the great cross raised on the crossing, to show our faith in our conquest of the heathen. And I did wish to ask if the preliminary investigations to a proper site to build it on have been completed.
Mostly we have gone in a permanent area, and we can get some. We have a lot of labor, I'll put it at that, and we can get the resource. If we're able to get the resource, labor will not be the issue. We can construct this, of course, with most likely oversight of Spanish soldiers, just to make sure every worker knows to do their job and not do any other mischievous acts.
Sloth is a sin. That is true. A hard worker is a good Christian. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm hoping that we can break ground on the cross before the year's end, and in the next year, of course, in 49. And we can begin the process. My architects tell me it will take a decade, but I'm sure with Christian spirit and a good work ethic, we can make that quicker. The sword, if the rod does not work, Governor, always. I'm glad to be here and glad to see your progress, and I will stay tonight and then return home to Madrid. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you the best, and may God guide you in your actions, Governor.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Greetings. Is the delegate from Spain available? This is the foreign delegate from Venezuela.
Hello there. I'm the foreign minister for King Carlos of Spain. I deal with all matters of state, including our friends in Venezuela. What brings you to the court of King Carlos?
Yes, thank you for receiving me, sir. Pending the results from the South American Congress, I believe we have come to a diplomatic resolution in Venezuela with the support of President Vargas and General Olmedo. With the backing of the South American states, we would formally request to join the Spanish Customs Union.
We'd be happy to work it out. Obviously, you do understand everything involved, but you would be ceding over your own currency and monetary policy to that of the Royal Bank of Spain, but obviously gain full access to tariff-free markets within the Spanish Empire. You are aware of the consequences of this, yes?
Yes, we are aware of the terms of agreement. However, we would like to once again press the issue that Venezuela is a sovereign state, and we'd be willing to support the Spanish crown in times of defense and.
Well, it's not required. If you are in our market, it is not required you give military help. If you were willing to, that would be very good of you. But we do not expect anything like that. We have no power over your government, but we do have power over our monetary currency of which you would use.
Yes, the Republic of Venezuela finds these terms fair.
Very well. In that case, I will formally extend you the offer. Very well. Oh, I forgot. There's a play now for market status.